is Marilee Burnett, and I am back again with the messages for the week of January 13th, 2025, which is going to be very dramatic. So thanks for tuning in. As always, if you are new to my channel, I do both astrology and tarot, and I post content every week, which of course, if you click on that subscribe button below, then you are notified every time I do put out new content, which typically is Saturday morning here on the West Coast of the United States. So we're going to kick off the week with a dramatic full moon in Cancer. And if you want to make sure that you're up to date on all of my content related to this event, again, go to my website, marileeburnett.com. Out there, once you subscribe, then you're part of my mailers, and then I will send you out the full moon article, the monthly horoscope, the new moon, and then any extra content I might be creating, like the 2025 masterclass that I did that covers all of the shifts and changes that are coming, and they're life-changing, they're community changing, they're collective changing. So we have a lot to go through, and as you can already see, things are going to be dramatic and overpowering, I guess, in some circumstances, but we'll get through it all together. That's why you tune in every week with me to talk about all of the changes. So let's just get to breaking it all down, because I do want to talk about this dramatic full moon, which we're already seeing the effects of, right? Unfortunately, for all of our brothers and sisters in California that are in harm's way, of sending you many, many blessings. And hopefully, maybe there's a big dramatic ending to the fire that would be amazing, right? So I'm going to break it down for all of the signs after I do the overview of what's coming in general. And then I'll tell you specifically where you might see some big dramatic surprising ending, or of course opportunity as a result of the energy that will be available to us. I use this Astrologer software, and I try to focus in on the key energies, which are seen in the bold lines below. As we get started on Monday, I'm going to point out the big shift that has just begun, and that involves the nodes. So we've got now the North Node in Pisces. This is where we're headed. And of course, we require lessons, right? We require events that expose us to this Piscean energy in a way that's fated, right? This is the nodes that we're talking about, fated points that surround the moon. They're not real. We can't see the North and South node, but they are the energy that's surrounded by or surrounding the moon. And so it's associated again with emotions and intuition and fate. The South node in Virgo is what we already have enough of. I like to say our cup is full with all this energy from the South node, our OCD-ness, our attention to details, our focus on even natural methods of healing. And we've learned all we can that way, and we have to do some more work around the Pisces energy, our spiritual path, our creative path, our artistic gifts and talents. This can see a lot of activity around the spirit world. Workers like me that work with spirit, and medical doctors, medicine, health can become a big topic over the next 18 months. So you can go back to 2006 and take a look at what lessons you were working on at that time. What did your life look like? Of course, there's more going on than just the nodes, but this is one that, since it just shifted, its energy becomes a big part of this full moon in Cancer. So the moon is, of course, the ruler of the sign of Cancer, so it's extra potent, extra strong when it's at home, which heightens already the intuition, our emotions, our feelings, our reactions to being hurt. They're going to be a little over the top. And then if you add to that this Martian energy, right, from Mars in retrograde in a sign that it does not like, while it's speaking with Neptune, there is all kinds of fogginess. There is this attempt to clear the fog with the fire, right? If you add a fire sign and a water sign, you get a lot of steam, which can create fog, right? So there is this end of some kind of an illusion that is possible. But whatever it is, it's a big deal. Two other things going on. Of course, in order to have a full moon, we have to have the sun. And the sun's in Capricorn, where it likes to be. It's very successful. It can be something to do with the government, right? Government leaders. There can be tension among government leaders. There can be tension among the masculine and the feminine, right? And the tension is what creates the ending, what creates the completion. So we can't shy away from this tension. It's needed to end whatever this is, depending on the house that you have this in, which we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. So don't lean away from it. You got to lean into it and try to see what this tension is trying to tell you. It's trying to tell you to have good balance, right? Work, Capricorn, home and family, Cancer, right? There has to be good balance between those two things. So the effect of the help from Neptune, again, spirit sitting next to the North Node, there could be, again, faded energy that is more water, right? So again, more emotions, more intuition. Neptune's an outer planet, so its impact is felt more internally. It is moving forward. That helps us move forward. And like I said, for the next several months, it is sitting here talking to the North Node. So these lessons that we're learning initially combine the North Node with Pisces ruler, which of course is Neptune. So this energy of Pisces is bigger. It's more important. It's going to get our attention, along with the help of this full moon. So that already is important energy. And then we get the wild card. Now, when you have two fire signs, the sun and Mars, in a battle with one another, it can be explosive, right? This is a lot of ego going on. A lot of hurt feelings can be a part of what you need to end or change. Now, when you add Uranus, which I consider to be lightning bolt, to the fire, it's just going to fan the flames and surprise us. So that's why I'm going to suggest, if you are triggered during these next few days, that you really think about how you respond, if you should even respond, or if you should let the fires die down before you start reacting. Now, if you need to get out of a situation, maybe you need to move. Maybe you're moving during this time. Then you're going to have all the energy you need to help you, but you're going to have to remember to kind of slow down because Mars is retrograde and it's not going to let you move fast, but it will give you the energy to get stuff done. And then Uranus is just, like I said, it's a lightning bolt to fire. So it's either going to explode things more or just send us in a complete different, unexpected direction. So how this impacts you, of course, has very much to do with your individual chart. The help, right, from Uranus is positive. It's a sextile to the moon. It's a trine to the sun. So it's trying to help you break free from this war, from this battle, right, from this tension. So wherever you have the tension in your chart, in your life, Uranus is going to help you break free from it. The help could come from somebody that's a surprise and unexpected, right? Maybe something or someone associated to your past because of the fact that this Uranus energy in Taurus, which is finances. So it could be surprise money involved, surprised opportunities for work that, because it's retrograde, comes from people you knew in the past. So very much want you to take a look at the planets that you have in your natal chart that are in these degrees, right? Especially this, call it the last decan. So between 20 and 30 or 20 and 29 degrees of the sign, you're going to feel it the most. And of course, right at this 23 degrees, you have anything there, you're really going to feel this intensely. So again, breathe, take a hot bath, right? Give yourself a chance to manage your emotions so that you're not breaking free from situations that you shouldn't be, right? Acting a little childish like Mars does when it's in the sign of Cancer could, have negative consequences for you. So that's not something that you want to experience. And it's this, all of the energy is like here on this full moon in some way, just making it even more dramatic. All this water energy. So again, when we have too much water energy, we need to lean into the earth energy to balance it out. So get yourself grounded, do things that connect you to the earth. You can literally take your socks and shoes off and go stand in the grass or stand in the dirt. But if it's too cold, I always recommend working on like indoor plants, something where you can get your hands in the dirt, or make sure you're eating fresh vegetables, right? Organic, right out of the earth. Whatever your mode of connection is, could be crystals, right? They come from the earth. Just start preparing right now so that you're ready to work with this energy. And it's, middle of the late afternoon on Monday, as far as like Arizona time goes. So adjust accordingly, depending on where you're at and where you're watching. But I just guarantee you it's going to be dramatic. So let it end. If something's unexpectedly being pulled away from you, you have to let it go, because whatever we let go of now, with the help of this new 18-month journey of the nodes, it says to me, whatever I lose, whatever I let go of, opens up the door for the work I'm supposed to be doing for the next year and a half with the nodes here in Pisces and Virgo. Okay, that's Monday. So what is it that you are working on based on your sign? Potentially. Now, I do this based on whole house signs with the rising set at 0. So it is just general. Of course, if you want to know more specifically, go book a session with me. I even have short sessions that are specifically for working with the new moons and the full moons. So we can get just right to the point. And again, focus in the energy on what it is that you need to end. What do you need to complete? Maybe you've got a project that's been halfway done forever, and now you need to focus your energy on getting it done. And maybe in a surprising, unique, innovative way, which is what Uranus would help you do. And Neptune would tell you to sit and pray to get the help you need to get it done. All right, so starting with Aries. So Aries, this for you is in your 4th house of home and family, which I said earlier is the sign of Cancer, and the moon rules the 4th house. So there is something that could shock and surprise you and be complete about your living situation, about the house you live in. You could move unexpectedly, or somebody could move out or in where you live unexpectedly. So all things related to home and family are what you are working on at this time. And we have Taurus. Taurus, this happens in your 3rd house. So the 3rd house is something that could surprise you in conversation, in your community. And keep in mind, Uranus is in your first house, so you could be the one that surprises others by speaking up in some way that's rather dramatic and brings an end to something. You'll have to let me know, Taurus. Next, we have Geminis. So Geminis, this could be a surprise in the second house that is all about the money you make. It's about the things that you put value in. It's your self-worth. So you, again, have a bit of a battle going on between the money you make and the money that comes to you from other resources. Can be your debts, could be your partner's resources. There could be a battle going on between you and your partner that involves finances. But there's something involving the 12th house that the surprise comes in, and that could be a surprise from a large institution like a bank, could be a government position or the military. So you have to keep me posted on that, Gemini, and see what comes to fruition for you involving the money you make. Now, of course, Cancer, this is your first house, so this is a big ending of a personal goal that you have for yourself that you're very passionate about, right? Mars in your sign for what feels like forever is still going retrograde until about February 23rd. So there's still a lot of work to do on yourself that you're reflecting on, that you're reviewing, but a piece of that work with the help of this full moon is going to be done and going to be completed. So maybe it's a big change in how other people see you. Maybe it's a physical change of some kind. But do something like cut your hair because your hair can grow back out, or color it. Don't do any permanent kinds of things at this time. It won't turn out as you've expected. It'll be a surprise. All right. Then we have Leos, and Leos, this is happening in your 12th house. 12th house full moons can be psychologically taxing in some way because the 12th house also rules all things that are hidden and unseen, like the subconscious mind. You might have some crazy dreams that present you with a really big idea. So make sure you're journaling whatever it is that you're dreaming about right now. And you can channel this energy into doing some work on something that you feared for a long time and put that to an end. All right. Then we have Virgos. And Virgo, this is happening in your 11th house of friends and networking groups. I like to call this your fairy godparent house of energy. So this is a time for concluding the work that you've been doing in a group or finding your tribe, right? And again, a friend might surprise you in a big way because Uranus is in your 9th house of growth and expansion, higher education. Maybe a friend offers you a job, and so that would cause you to end one that you currently have. All right, halfway through, let's take a look at Libra. Libra, this for you is happening in your 10th house of career. So there can be a big, shocking change as far as the work you do. Is it a change to the job you do? Is it an increase? Is it a raise? Is it a bonus? There's something big and dramatic involving your career. It's involving your status and your reputation. There could, for some of you, be some kind of a big ending that's associated with marriage in some way. Getting married, getting unmarried. Keep me posted, Libras. All right. Next, we have Scorpios. So Scorpios, this is happening in your 9th house. This is a house that has to do with higher education. So maybe you've been looking to pursue your degree and you would be completing it at this time and have all this energy to help you finish your thesis, right? A very innovative one that would be talked about for years to come. It's a big deal, whatever is coming to an end for you, and it's a growth opportunity for you. Next, we have Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, for you, the full moon happens in your 8th house. So anytime the 8th house is activated, it's energy that is life-changing. It's transformational, right? This is the house that's ruled by Pluto. It's death, it's rebirth. So there could be, again, kind of a real dramatic ending for you in some way, or a just dramatic change that affects your life as a whole and sends you on a new pathway, right? Now, this is a house that also rules finances and money that comes to you from other people like your spouse. So there could be some challenge between you and your spouse where finances are concerned. Maybe there's a good challenge, like big money that comes in, and enough money that could cause you to really reconsider the current things that you're doing. Where do I live? Where do I work? Why do I have to continue? Anything along those lines, right? It can just be a major change. And it could be the end of something that you've been working on for a long time as well. So, whatever it is, there's a bit of a surprise involved, and you'll definitely have to let me know what that is. All right, next we have Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, this is happening in your 7th house, which is the house of commitments and marriage and business partnerships. So something there is coming to a surprising ending. And is it a surprise if you're going to get married or get divorced or break up the business relationship? What is it that you are wanting as far as this goes? And that is where you want to be setting those intentions. Let me know how that goes. All right. Then we have Aquarius. And Aquarius, for you, this happens in your 6th house, which is work and health, your day-to-day activities and habits. So if you had a bad habit, for instance, it would be a great time to break yourself free from that. If you're not enjoying your work, this would be a good time to change jobs. And if you do enjoy your work, there still could be a surprise that causes you to change it anyway. It's always best to be prepared and make sure you always have your resume ready to go. Something about the people you work with could change unexpectedly, which would then impact your role as well. And then last but never least is our Pisces. And this happens for you in your 5th house. So this is something coming to fullness that could involve one of your children, your hobbies, your heart, a romantic partner or relationship. And again, an ending doesn't mean that something has to end, but a goal about the 5th house for you can be achieved. But again, it's achieved in a surprising way. So if you're single, somebody may come sweep you off your feet unexpectedly, and then suddenly you're in the romance of a lifetime. Anything's possible. All right. So that's just a quick rundown. I'm not looking at any of your obviously personal planets to say how much more impactful this surprise could be, but I personally have some serious impact, so I'll definitely keep you posted next week with what this could be for me. Then we'll compare notes. All right, so that is Monday. So we're off and running, and then we're going to talk a lot about Venus for the rest of the week. Venus is going to be really active in her conversations. And on Tuesday, Venus loves being in Pisces, very indulgent, loves all the juicy emotional energy that's here. And it is squaring to Jupiter today. Now, when the two benefics square one another, it has a tendency for us to overindulge in some way. So you have to take a look at the two houses that are activated in your chart by this energy. But a square always needs attention because something needs to change. So maybe you have been overindulging in drinking, right? Which would be associated with this Pisces energy, and you love drinking and you think it's just fun, but it's starting to cause a problem. It's starting to get in the way. And so Jupiter in Gemini says, we got to change our mind about this. And you will. And maybe it's because you overindulged that you finally say, okay, this has become less fun, more problem, and I need to do something about it. It's not a bad day energy-wise. It's just a day where attention needs to be paid and changes need to be made. That's Tuesday. Then as we move on into Wednesday, notice that Venus keeps getting a little closer to Saturn. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And then the big energy, that tension that was building since the full moon between the Sun and Mars is now exact. So this could be the most explosive day of the entire week. Because again, as I mentioned, these are two fire signs. And when fire fights fire, things get hot and people might get burned. So be very, very careful. And again, it's not about taking risks, right? Wherever you're feeling challenged, again, here we've got the masculine and the feminine. We've got work and family. Whatever this tension is, if you don't want to get burned, find the perfect way to meet in the middle, right? Mars, the warrior, fighting for your home, fighting for your family. The Sun, shining a light on your success. And you want both, but you're not quite sure how to figure it out. Seek answers, seek help. Stop trying to do it on your own if you can't figure it out. All right. The other thing that we have going on is going to be this inconjunct energy between Mercury in Capricorn, which thankfully it's out of Sagittarius. So things are starting to get a little bit more serious. We were able to focus more on the details. But Mercury today is not connecting very well with Jupiter, which is in, of course, Mercury ruled sign Gemini. So there is the potential for conflicts, miscommunication, misdirected communication. So don't hit send on your emails because you don't want to accidentally be hitting reply all when it's meant for one person. That's the kind of weird, crazy stuff that might happen. So just double check yourself as we get through the day on Wednesday. And we also might learn some really crazy things today as a result of these two connecting as well. We'll soon find out. All right. As we move on into Thursday, now we've got this energy of the Sun that's, still kind of in conflict with Mars, but now it's solidly connected to Neptune, right? So the Sun shines a light on our gifts, on our spirituality. It can shine a light so that where we've been delusional, where we've been foggy thinking, right? That becomes a lot more clear. But also remember, when you get a really bright light in the fog, it can in some ways blind you too. So just be careful again in what you pursue and how quickly you try to pursue it. It's a time to be more inward focused, paying attention to your intuition and letting it guide you. Because when I can't see the answer, where something's going, I can tune in and let my guides show me the way. And there's something about that on Thursday that'll be really helpful to you. Okay. On Friday, here for the next 3 days, is when Venus and Saturn are going to be walking hand in hand. So imagine this energy like a young, beautiful woman and this old man. Right? So the old man really benefits from this Venus energy, right? It makes him feel young. It makes him feel youthful. It makes him feel vital. And Venus benefits from the Saturn wise teacher, older man who's well respected, right? This is our hard work ethic, and Venus also rules money. So there could be some kind of big partnership underway from the collective. And then for you personally, when Venus is with Saturn, the topics of money and love and the house that this meeting is happening in matters become more important. This is a true commitment. So if you get a job offer, if you get a proposal, it would last a long time. But again, there's something about this opposition with being just free in the love, and it's just flowing, right? Well, with the moon down here in Virgo, which is very controlled and not so free flowing, there's something about this joining of hands that the moon's trying to call your attention to. So don't get too dreamy, and don't just put on the biggest rose-colored glasses you've ever worn. Make sure you check in with your intuition first. Get yourself grounded. If it seems too good to be true, it is. But just know there's something that we need to really feel into Friday, and it will be with us for the next few days as well. All right, so let's look at Saturday. Speaking of the next few days. On Saturday, you're starting to see a new big, bold connection and these lines here. And that's because the sun is about to end its time in Capricorn. And anytime we're at 29 degrees, like we had Pluto in there for quite a while, which was tearing down all of their government structures that we knew, there may be something about that recent activity related to change in the government that the sun is providing a spotlight on right now. Now, 29 degrees is a critical degree, but whatever's going on, whatever mini crisis this is, it's a fated one, because this is also the sun speaking in harmony with the North Node, where we're heading, and with the South Node, where we've been, and who's sitting there with the South Node also? The moon. So the moon's really been empowered since its fullness, right, in its home sign. And now this energy is directly integrated into whatever is coming, whatever these big changes are, whatever these lessons are. The moon is making sure we keep our emotions under control while we deal with whatever this big drama is, because of the fact that it's with the South Node. It's something related to the past, an emotional event from the past, that we're going to see something different. There's a lesson to learn, and both the sun and moon are combining again. So our ego self and our emotional self are on the same page. Fate and destiny is on the same page. Karma with Saturn, love, and Venus. There's something big brewing on Saturday. What could it be? All right. Then we will finish the week off with, again, all very similar energy. Now we're seeing Saturn with Venus, and they've just moved forward a bit. So whatever this is, it's moving forward as well. And as it does, there's this little help from Mercury. So Mercury's been in this helping angle from, again, Capricorn. So again, there's something very serious about communication right now that is being highlighted. And again, it could be communication, documentation associated with government leaders, information associated with government leaders about an old man and a young woman. And is there a favorable outcome to a situation that's going to make some people really roll their eyes? We will find out. over the weekend, I think. May find out on Friday. All right. So then, but wait, there's always more. The sun is now moved into the sign of Aquarius, right? So shining a light on groups, on people, and starting to obviously be closely aligned with Pluto. So the sun is shining a light on our power, the power of the people, the power of revolution and transformation, death, rebirth, and connections. And it's still, of course, closely connected to the nodes, but it has moved to a new sign. So we're going to see next week this energy will continue, of course, and we will continue to talk about what we will see as these two big potential leaders of people join together. So let's briefly look and think about Monday, January 20th. This, of course, is the day that the presidency transitions. At the time it transitions, we have Pluto conjunct with the sun. So there, of course, is a huge transformation underway on the leader of the people. That's faded for some reason at this time. And so this is the influence that the presidency in the United States will be under. Because when we think about Inauguration Day, this energy has a lot to do. It's like a birth chart for the presidency over the next 4 years. So we'll talk more about that next week. We'll talk about the fact that Chiron is squaring with Mercury. So there is some conflict. We're starting to see big shifts and change. And so we'll be back next week to start to break that down, as we will be in between the energy of the full moon in Cancer and then the upcoming new moon in Aquarius. So whatever revolution we need to kick off, I'm guessing we've got a big idea of what that is and what that looks like as these two powerhouses combine energies on Monday, January 20th. All right. So, of course, I'm here for your questions. So make comments, message me. I love responding to your questions about astrology in general. But if you want to know specifics, of course, you know to find me on my website, marileyburnett.com. And if you still want to be prepared, I mean, we're just seeing the very first changes with this shift of the nodes, with this conversation with the sun and Pluto, but there's so much more to come, all happening in this area here between Aries and Pisces. So whatever house this is happening in for you, it's going to be really busy and very active, full of people, full of interactions, and full of lessons. And that doesn't even take into account any planets that you might have in these degrees. But I think now, as this North Node is hitting this first transition point, we're starting to see what the lessons over the next year and a half may be about. And we've definitely been seeing a lot of big egos going on. So, very interesting. That's all I can say. My word for 2025 is curious. I am very curious to see how this will all unfold. All right. That's all I got for this week. Keep me posted and hopefully keep the drama under control. Don't let the fire consume you. And let's pray for rain and the winds to calm down and dissipate so that all those firefighters and all the crews from the surrounding states can get there and help hopefully get this under control. There's only so much you can do about wind. It's It's a Uranus thing. Uranus is the weather. It's shocking and surprising. Okay, enough about that. I will talk with you all next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.